Okay.
Hello, everybody. Kristina Wolf here, and welcome to Energy Mastery, creating systems that support your best life. Today, we have Karishma Gill here. She is my SWAT sister with the SWAT Institute. And Karishma, I think you can do a much better job at introducing yourself than I ever could. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your work and the wonderful gifts you give the world?
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Kristina. And thank you really for having me in your speaker series. I was so honored when you sent me that message. I'm like, yes, of course, I would love to help out. To all your beautiful listeners out there, I am Karishma Gill. I call myself Rianrel Karishma Gill. And what I do is I'm a spiritual awakening guide. For those women out there who are spiritually awakening right now, I offer my services because I'm a fellow awakening woman myself. I'm also a divine feminine goddess teacher, and what that means is basically helping women align themselves with their divine feminine energy that's rising in not just women, but men themselves. And what I do is basically it's all about connecting with our spiritual life, making it one with our human life. I think we've been separated from our spiritual side for I would say thousands of years. And people like myself and all the other spiritual teachers out there are just here to sort of remind us that, the spiritual side is also a part of us, and things like our intuition, things like connecting with our guides, and using practices like meditation on a daily basis. These are like the basic applications that we would apply. But that's what I do. But yes.
Awesome. So being that we were both, students with the SWAT Institute, I know you graduated and I'm still going through it. Many of our other fellow sisters, when we're going through the whole process, I noticed that a lot of us we're having a period of time where we kind of have to calm our own, issues and our own, learn better ways and practices to harness that spirituality, that intuition. And that's one of the reasons for this speaker series, is because there's so many beautiful people out there with all these gifts, and they just can't quite get calm or focused enough to present those gifts in a I guess the best way possible for them. So tell me a little bit about some of the practices that you've learned over the years in order to be able to provide your services.
When I was going through my SWAT journey, learning how to be a coach, going through my own emotional shedding journey, it was very difficult because, when you're removing all the layers yourself, because I truly believe, and that's why I'm so passionate about the SWAT program. When you want to be a teacher or a healer yourself, you have to be able to learn how to heal yourself before you can actually be of service to somebody else. So when I was going through that period, there was a lot of layers being shed. And the one thing that I had to do was to reach out to fellow teachers and I would say spiritual mentors, which I was very grateful to have. And, to ask them, how do I flow with it? How do I, instead of running away from it, because they're all up in the air, how do I move through it? And the first thing was to learn how to accept that they are there for a reason. And it's not about running away, but it's about really accepting and then releasing it, and releasing it to the light. Now, it's not something very deep. It's just something about calming yourself, one, through meditation, which is something I started practicing when I was going through this journey. So I am not a mantra person where I do an om and I meditate. I mainly just do deep breathing exercises. I connect with the light. I connect with Mother Earth. And that helped to sort of, that just helped me listen, because meditation is about you being still. So the first thing I had to do was to really be still, to see what was really going on around me, because I was all up in my head. And we are being taught in our SWAT school, how to bring yourself from your head to your heart. So that helped meditation. Number two was to understand what was really going on with me. Because for a person like myself, not only was I shedding, but my intuitive senses were like exploding. So I had to basically navigate through it. I don't know about a lot of other people out there, but I have met others as well who are going through similar. And the first thing I would say is you have to accept what's going on. Don't run away from it. And number two, you have to find practices that help you accept. So meditation is something that is very powerful. Breathing is so, so important. Number two is about reaching out. Really reaching out. I have this. I don't know what to do about this. I need some help. How do I go through it? And I had help from very, very close spiritual mentors of mine. These are like the two basic tips I can offer, because you need that. You need to sort of like say, I need help. You can't do this by yourself.
You have to have a tribe. You can't do it alone.
No.
And for you, you're talking about like awakening spiritual gifts, like maybe being able to hear messages, like you say, download messages, that sort of thing. And for you, that might have been a little overwhelming at first if you hadn't really tapped into it before.
Yes.
And how would you relate that to other coaches that are trying to start their own business and really are disorganized in their energy and want to be able to harness those gifts?
What I can offer is this. All the coaches, everyone on this planet right now, all the coaches, the healers, the teachers, everyone's waking up to their spiritual gifts. And especially if you are here to help others, sort of to guide them, to heal them, and to help them, it's all about you connecting with yourself first and how you can use your gifts, your natural talents. For instance, if you, Kristina, are a nutritional coach, I'm just giving an example, okay? If you're a nutritional coach, what I do on a daily basis is I really just connect with my meditation, and I ask, how can I use my talents for a purpose greater than myself? Now I have taken that from Oprah because she uses that. Mm-hmm. So how can I use that for a purpose greater than myself today? So I just basically have that practice every day. How can I use this? How can I be of service as a nutritional coach today? And then I just listen. Now, many of the coaches I know right now, they're very, very intuitive because they're very in tune. They are the ones who are dealing with their issues. And when you start to release your own fears, move through your own fears, you automatically become very, very intuitive because you start to listen. You're healing yourself.
You're clearing that out. You're clearing out the low resonating out. So
exactly. So once you start to clear out those low vibrations, you automatically your senses are going to be exploding. And that's when it's very important for you to listen. So it's accepting, connecting, listening, how you can be of service for the day. And the other thing that I can offer is, instead of doing the go, 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 like, let's plan for the next 30 days, let's plan for the next 6 months. It's about co-creating with what the universe wants to create through you. When you do that, what you're doing is you're balancing yourself, because you're coming from a very balanced masculine and feminine energy. Right now, the energy of the earth is not about the whole aggressive masculine, let's go and get the results right now. It's about being in that balance. How can I work with the universe to be of service? To do that, you got to connect. You got to plug back in. You got to plug back in every single day, every single time you wake up in the morning. So you can't start the day without being centered within yourself. You're going to be all over the place otherwise. If you're not centered,
it should be a daily practice upon waking.
Yes, yes. Upon waking up, center yourself, connect yourself, plug back into that eternal battery of yours, and then sort of like, okay, what can I do right now? Where can I go? How can I take my work to be of service to my tribe today? In that sense, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working with the universe and like, oh, cool, this is great. And the other thing you're going to notice is you're not going to be as tired as much because you're plugged in.
Yeah.
You're not all the time. You're not going to be tired all the time. So, and you're going to notice you're going to have a lot more fun like that. And if you don't have fun, don't do it. That's my advice.
Exactly. Yes. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling good, don't do it.
Don't do it.
The whole point.
Yes. I hope that's something that is of value, because that's what I do. And I notice whenever I'm more centered, whenever I'm like, okay, cool, I've connected, I've received, okay, this is what I need to do, and I take it from there, and I'm a lot more joyous, I'm a lot more happier, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you, were you always somewhat inclined to meditating or being in tune, or did you go from being like completely unaware to suddenly having to, not necessarily suddenly, but like being completely inspired to get quiet and really get in tune with yourself? Or what, did it just sort of flow over time?
This is, it's not a tough question, but it's just from my experience. I think it was like 13 years ago, I was exposed to Reiki healing. So a friend of mine introduced me to Reiki healing, and that was the one of the first times I experienced meditating and connecting. And there was this, Reiki teacher saying, "Oh, let's connect," and I'm like, okay, what are we connecting to? I was so unaware. And, if I look back and I'm like, my God, I was so unaware. But that sparked the interest into, okay, so there must be something about this connection thing. And that's when I started to, browse through various different types of meditation. And I was trying to find something that vibed with me, because, like I said, I'm not a mantra kind of a person. So the connection practices started from there. But it never fully solidified until about a couple of years ago. So when I was on my SWOT journey and I was going through my own soul searching at the same time, that's when it solidified. Okay, I need to really center myself. And that's when it happened. So yeah,
so
that's
a very conscious effort on your end.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. It was a very conscious effort. And I realized if I wasn't meditating, if I wasn't being centered in the day, I would be all over the place. And I realized, okay, I need to get serious about this. So that for me was a conscious effort.
So when you were in those, let's say you had one of those days where you maybe didn't get centered right away, and you were trying to, I guess, maybe coach somebody or whatnot, and you were just feeling all over the place. How did you bring it back to a centered place?
Okay. I think it has happened maybe a couple of times, but I'm just glad what I did was, before I was going to coach someone, or before I was going to like do a mentoring session or something, I would just ask permission for the person. Just give me about 5 minutes. I just need to center myself, because I wouldn't be fair to the person if I wasn't centered. Yeah. So I had to just be really polite and say, can you just give me 5 minutes? I just need to center myself. And so that I can basically sort of, be of service to you. And when they heard that, they were really nice about it. They were like, yeah, please take your time, because, I want the best from you. It's like, so that's what I had to do. And I realized this happened to me, I think, twice. And I realized, okay, I need to be better prepared. I need to be not doing that if I don't have to do it. So that's why right now I plug in the morning. When I plug in the morning, I'm done for the day. So that hasn't happened to me yet. However,
that's the tone for you throughout the day.
Yes. Wow. However, there are times when, of course, things happen. You end up having an argument with someone, sadly, and then you're like, oh crap, you're sort of off balance. So you kind of reconnect back again. So, but on my side, it's a conscious effort, Christina. It has to be a really conscious effort, because I notice immediately when my thoughts are all over the place, and I'm like, I that's not me. So
Right.
yeah.
How do you think you maintain that discipline? Is it something that you just strive for because you know you feel better about it afterward, or you are just happen to be a very disciplined person? Some people are better at sticking with habits than others, and just kind of, if you could speak into that a little bit.
Sure. I would say I've never grown up disciplined. I'm a very creative person. So I have to be not in routine, if that makes sense. I am not a routine kind of person. The minute I'm in a routine, I get bored very quickly. So for someone like myself, discipline was very hard to come. So, and I think this is going to apply to a lot of coaches out there who are sort of similar like myself. When you want to apply discipline, it's very, I would say, necessary, but make it fun. What I started to do was I used like my phone, okay? So I used my phone and I used to like put in some messages, okay, at such and such time, I need to do this. And these are like reminders to myself, because I'm very ADHD all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Me too.
You know,
Yeah, I can relate.
I'm very ADHD all the time, like la la la, you know, I'm like this unicorn with wings flying all over the place, right? And like, and,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, how do I sort of do this? So I told myself, and I also, with the help of my guides, and they were very, very helpful with this, I said, I need some help to instill some habits, some good habits, so that, you know, instead of me floating all the time, I can also be grounded. So with their help, and when I wrote down stuff, and also when I'm just after meditation, what I do is I write like, okay, today, for instance, if I were to have a live session on Facebook, let's just say, so for the live session, you know, what would you have me do for the live session? The minute I put it down, the minute I write it down, instead of just having it in my head, it crystallizes. So that to me was a disciplined practice, because if I don't write down what I'm going to do for the day, it's just in my head and then it never gets materialized. So if, for the coaches out there, I highly recommend that you write it down. That's a very good masculine practice to have. But the feminine practice is to connect, receive, and then practice. That worked for me. So, yeah.
Right. So, now, do you feel like it's something that you do every day? Like you get up, you brush your teeth, go meditate, and now I'm good for the whole day? Or is it like, you know, you just go with the flow, and it's not necessarily the same every day? Because I'm a little bit like you, where, you know, if it's real structured or rigid or whatever, you're going to get bored, or if it's hard to stick with it, you're not going to do it. But I think if you come from a more I'm putting in something good versus having to stick with a routine, like, you know, trying to work out is good. You're adding health to your life instead of, you know, adding pain to your life.
Okay, how do I? Okay, the one thing that I never liked in my life was exercise. Okay, I'm not a big fan of exercise. However, you know, I turned 40 this year. Okay, so I'm just gonna give an example. Oh,
yay! Actually, this is launching on my 40th birthday.
Oh my God!
Oh,
we have to celebrate. We have to celebrate.
Yes.
So, well, this may apply to you. I told myself I'm going to do things very differently from now onwards. And I said, I need to take my health into, I need to take charge of my health. I cannot continue like this. I don't want to look flabby all my life. I want to have my bikini body, for God's sakes, okay?
Yes.
So I told myself, what do I like to do to get my body moving? And the first thing that came to my mind was dancing. So I love dancing. So what I do right now is, I would say 4 to 5 times a week. I put on like a little dance video. There's tons of them on YouTube, and I'm like shaking my booty away, you know, I'm sweating my thing off, and it's fun because that vibed with me very well. So that was one that became a routine that I liked, because every video that I watched was different. So I wasn't really being in routine, but it was also a routine. So I'm tricking myself. Okay.
Yeah, right, right.
And then when I wake up in the morning, what I do is I love the feeling of being plugged in, because I feel alive. And I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ugh. So I need to get to that space before I could actually do something and put myself out there. So I told myself, if I'm not feeling like that, it's not going to work. And I've done this for a few days. I'm like, let's just see if I don't plug in, what happens, right? Oh, it's a total mess. So that's when I'm like, okay, I need to be in that feeling space. If I'm not in that feeling space, it's not going to work. So that's one habit that just went very smoothly for myself. So this is where I can offer to everyone out there: do something that vibes with you, that makes you feel good, and that it feels right for you. Because what works for me does not necessarily work for you. But you have to find something that works and feels right for you. So, I mean, I hope that makes sense,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that sort of like it just settled very, very, very naturally into my life. So yeah,
I
that's what I
think
do.
it reminds me a little bit of a practice from another coach, Kristina. I don't know if you heard of her, but she always talks about feeding the feminine first.
Yes.
You know, and I really like that practice of, you know, before I do anything else in my day, I'm going to meditate a little bit, or I'm going to give to myself a little bit. I'm gonna feed my soul first before anybody else gets a piece of me, you know. And I think, you know, from just that little bit that you feed yourself, you're able to feed many. You know, it's like, yeah, absolutely. So I've had such a fun time talking with you. And if our listeners want to contact you or learn more about your work, how can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on my website, which is www.karishmagill.com. I'm also on Facebook, so you can contact me with the email address karishmagill@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook with that email address. I have one page on Facebook because I just love one page. I don't want to separate my page to a business and a personal. It's all one. That's my life right now. I'm also on Instagram, which is Rianrel Karishma Gill. So I'm available on social media. I love connecting with people that way. It's really cool. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, everybody go to her website. Check it out. All right. Well, it has been so much fun talking with you, and I hope all of our listeners have gotten so much out of this. I know I have, and thank you so much once again, and we'll talk more, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, Kristina, for having me. Thank you so much, really.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for coming. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.